Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. Today is essentially the middle of summer-ish. It's mid-July, and the theme this week is vegetarian. And a little bit of a heads up, next week is going to be garden theme and garden bounty. So I wanted to show you a couple of recipes that I love to use up my zucchini. So I showed you guys a way next week, or last week, sorry, how to use up your zucchini with the veggie burger. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out. But I'm going to be showing you zucchini soup today. This is a favorite for our home. And I'm also going to be showing you a video for zucchini fritters. So if you want to look at that video, do check that one out as well. So what I've done here is I've taken about just 1 cup of, or 1 large onion, and I put it with a bit of olive oil. And what I want to do is I want to give this a little bit of a browning. So whenever you give your food a bit of a browning, be it meat or onions and vegetables, that gives a layer of depth into your cooking. So I'm just going to let this sizzle here for a bit. I want to get it lightly brown just to give the zucchini soup some flavor. And you're going to be amazed at just how good this zucchini soup turns out to be with such a simple ingredient mixture. So for the Epicure line, what we're going to use today is we're going to use chicken broth. I love the broths because they have the B vitamins added to them. So this is one of the enhanced nutrition line, the broths. And they have some of the B vitamins. So if you are vegetarian, the broths are absolutely fantastic. It's one of the top products I would recommend to my vegetarians just because it gives you the B12. It also gives you pantothenate, folate, vitamin B6, and the niacin. And also like almost 100% of your riboflavin. So these are pretty awesome if you're vegetarian or if you just need added nutrition to your diet. I'm also going to be added the roasted garlic aioli, which actually isn't available right now, but I do expect it will come back soon. You could also add chili and garlic flakes if you like that. You could also just add some sort of fresh garlic, whatever you have. So you just want some sort of garlic. And we're going to add a curry. So I'm going to use the coconut curry. If you have the curry dip mix, you could use that as well. If you just have regular curry floating around your home, that will work as well. Okay. I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of salt because, of course, there's no salt in our broths, right? And I'm also going to add about a tablespoon of white rice, and this is just used as a thickener. And then I've got about 2 to 3 kind of medium small zucchinis cut up. Now, honestly, I had half of a huge zucchini, and I am using up my zucchini that way. So if you see here, I have a little bit of a browning going on now, so that's great. And I'm going to add in my zucchini. Now this recipe does puree it at the end. So ideally you will have either a blender, but what I really like is my hand blender. This one here. So I find this is great because I don't get any extra dishes, but whatever you have will work, and you want to give it a puree at the end. So interesting, I gave this to my boys when they're little because it's a puree food. It's very soft and it has a fairly small ingredient list, and so my boys love this. And I serve it with fresh dill on top, or you can use the lemon dilly direct. Oh gosh, I forgot the lemon dilly. That's like the key ingredient. It's because I'm making another recipe. You do not want to forget the lemon dilly. This is like the key part of this ingredient recipe. And I put a little bit of that on top, or fresh dill on top, and yogurt, and it makes it. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. My phone just rang while I was doing the video. So this is the joys of multitasking when you got your husband out looking for Facebook marketplace items, not finding addresses, and me cooking at home. So anyways, this is almost done. The zucchini is soft here. I'm going to add the salt. You can add the salt, honestly, anytime. So 1 teaspoon of salt. If you don't want to add any salt, that's fine too. But because the broth doesn't have any salt in it, I do suggest you adding some. And I'm going to add the rice. Give that a bit of a toast here. And now what we're going to do is add about 2 cups of water. Now this is, if it's too thick at the end, you can always add more. So I have about 1 liter here, but I'm just going to add about 1/2 cup. And I'm going to add all the seasonings. Actually, I should have added the curry powder before I added the water, but anyways, it'll be fine. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the chicken broth. I've got my 4-in-1 spice spoon here. So 2 tablespoons of the chicken broth. And you can always add more to taste if you want it a little bit more flavorful. I'm gonna add about 1 to 2 teaspoons of my coconut curry. I'm gonna go for 2, I think, today. And I'm gonna use 1 teaspoon of the roasted garlic aioli. And a good tablespoon of the lemon dilly. Now you're gonna cook this until it kind of boils, and then you'll simmer it down until the zucchini softens. So pretty much the recipe is done at this point. You're just gonna, once it softens and boils up, you're just gonna blend it down. And then again, when you serve it, you're gonna serve it with a dollop of yogurt and a little bit of the dill on top if you have some, either fresh dill or the lemon dilly. So I'm gonna let that boil and then I'll check back in a minute. Okay, so the zucchini is softened, so I'm gonna give it a whirl here and I'm gonna puree it down. If it's too thick, you just add a bit more water. Now mine is really flavorful, so I'm really happy with how it turned out with that combination. Now you can make it as pureed or as thin as you want. If you have a smaller pan, it probably will work a bit better. Often I double this recipe. It's not, I do freeze it, but it separates a little bit. So it's not the best one to freeze. This one's a little bit better to make fresh. And then after it's all blended, I just let it sit on the stove and simmer for a while and just cook down, add a bit more water as needed. And it's pretty much done. So I will show you guys a picture of that. We'll have that for our supper tonight. And I'll show you a picture of what it looks like in a bowl with the yogurt on top and a little bit of dill. It's really, really tasty. So I'm always surprised. I never thought zucchini soup was a thing. My Romanian family has taught this to me, Auntie Sanda. And it really is one of my favorite soup recipes now because it's a great way to use up zucchini and it is so tasty. So yeah, I hope you guys are all having a wonderful weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.